18 February 2024, and today I'm joined by the ZEEFA General. How are you, General, and what has been happening?
I am okay. I'm in good health and I'm in good spirits, so I'm fine. A lot has happened, so I'm fine.
Okay, so let's quickly go through what has been happening. You have sent some letters to various international organizations. Can you give us more information about that? Why do you send those letters? What is the purpose?
Okay. As you know, that we are advocating for freedom in Zimbabwe, and we are advocating for two entities that are stakeholders in the previous elections. Nelson Chamisa and Emerson Mnangagwa. They need to sit down and map a way forward for Zimbabwe, for Zimbabwean people to have at least freedom, at least the right to choose whoever they want to lead them. So we have sent letters to SADC, informing SADC that, look, the observer missions that you sent to Zimbabwe, and all over the world they send observer missions, but their reports were saying the elections did not meet the standards, the regional, international standards. The elections on its own, everyone can see it was sham elections. So if they don't hold up their end and their reports, they've just been overlooked, what was the purpose then of sending observer missions? Just to report that the elections were not free and fair, they were not up, they did not meet the standards, international standards and regional standards. Was that the purpose only end of the story? If they want if in future, if they want to send observer missions, they should have a clear mandate that we're sending observer missions: one, to observe; two, to correct the mistakes; three, to give a resolution to the problems. We are in this mess because of those reports in the first place. Yes, everyone could see the elections were sham elections. Everyone understood that each and every observer mission that was sent to Zimbabwe came up with one sentence that says the elections were not up to the standard of regional and international standards. They did not meet those standards. They fell short, which means there is a problem which needs to be fixed, which needs to be solved. So what's the resolution to that? SADC has to come up with a resolution. United Nations has to come up with a resolution. African Union, they have to come up with a resolution. But failure to do that, you are giving us power to find a solution, an alternative. So we have written these letters, yes, to remind them of their observer missions to Zimbabwe and find a solution. And the solution that is on the table is a dialogue between Nelson Chamisa and Emerson Mnangagwa.
Okay, so maybe I can ask this to General Stolle here to explain to us. Have you received any responses to those letters? And why have you not sent to Carter Center, EU, and all the other observer missions that said the election was not free and fair?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kambakwe. Remember, Kambakwe, we want to do things in a way which has got a procedure. We cannot first take issues to the external platforms before we can follow the channels of our internal processes. So the fact that we have written to the government of Zimbabwe and to Nelson Chamisa, we are taking the internal process first to see what is the response which we are going to get from them, because they are the people in the disputes. Here we have got a belief that we are dealing with the government and the opposition, which is patriotic. They know what they are doing. They have got the people at heart. The problems in Zimbabwe, they are known and they are seen. We have got a lot of things which are not going well. So the reason why we had to start internally It is to respect the fact that with the patriotic spirit in them, as per our belief, we don't go by conspiracy theory of what people are saying. We are taking things procedurally, step by step, and we still believe that they are going to reply.
Okay, so let's take for example Carter Center and EU. Have you guys considered going to them, since they are not compromised? You can see that SADC ED is going to be the chairperson. AU ED was there last week. In fact, he was there yesterday. Don't you think that you should take this to the international bodies, the UN, all these other bodies? And what's the game plan? What are you
Thank you,
hoping to achieve?
Remember
Yeah.
what I said. We don't jump the guns. We don't want to jump the guns. What we want to do first is to take these issues internally, follow the procedure internally. If we don't get a response which satisfies us, then we are going to use a second stage of taking the issues externally. You understand? So we cannot say we are still waiting for them to respond to us, whether they are going to respond or they are not going to respond at the same time, without giving a proper period to see what is the response. Because remember, whatever we are dealing with here, they are Zimbabwean issues. And remember again, even when we are still on SADC, there is a protocol on politics, defense and security, you know, where all of them, they have signed that in terms of politics, internal politics, the countries, they are independent. You understand? So we deliberately put everything on hold in terms of including the external organization, believing that with the spirit of patriotism from both our opposition and the ruling party, who are the bigger brothers, they are going to consider and see the necessity of dialogue as we are proposing on behalf of Zimbabweans, while we are also taking our part to unite the people by preaching the message of unity and mentally decolonizing our people, waiting for them to respond. We are still going to go to all those bodies we are talking about, but we are just doing things stage by stage.
Okay, but is 3 months enough? You have given a 3 months ultimatum. Is 3 months going to be enough?
Gambakwe, remember, we want our freedom now. 3 months is even too far. We want our freedom now. We want the freedom of the people now. SADC, remember, we are doing things stage by stage, step by step. If I can take you back to the report that came from SADC, it states that we need to exhaust all local remedies. Local remedies, until the local remedies are exhausted, then we can go international, we can find regional or international remedies. So the local remedy that we have now is two brothers to sit down, whether they like it or they don't like it. They like each other or they don't like each other. They have to sit down. Whether they respond to us or they don't respond to us, they still have to sit down. And if they don't sit down, we're still taking things stage by stage, from one point to another, locally, regionally, internationally, and we come back to our country. If no one responds to the freedom of Zimbabwe, that means it's us then to find a solution. It's us then to give a solution, since no one had responded. So for now, we preach the word of unity, uniting the people of Zimbabwe, mentally decolonize the people of Zimbabwe, free of propaganda that is being spread with our brothers in Zimbabwe and brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe. They need to free themselves from the history that was distorted. And where we are now is our elections they did not meet the regional and international standards. which needs two people, two brothers, to sit down and find a solution. SADC, we already sent a letter to SADC. They respond or they don't respond. It's their own baby to take care of. United Nations, later, we are going to approach them also just to inform them about the situation and about the ultimatum that two brothers in our house, they have to sit down. If the two brothers don't sit down.
But I'm looking at your letter to SADC, General. It doesn't have a return address. Are you just informing them and you don't want them to respond?
The email was sent through an email, right? In the same email, they have an email. Yes, they can, if they want to respond, the same email that sent that letter, they can respond.
Okay. I think it's clear. I'm just concerned that here you say, should any efforts fail to yield the desired outcome, I wish to express our resolve as Zimbabwe Economic Freedom Fighters Alliance to explore alternative avenues to address the challenge faced by our nation. What is the alternative action that you want to take?
A magician will never reveal his tricks. He's no longer a magician if he reveals his trick. So for now, we are telling you that as ZEEFA, let's unite the people of Zimbabwe and speak one language, irregardless of our political diversities. We are the children of the soil, Zimbabwe. We are the children of Zimbabwe that came from a liberation struggle under the white minority rule, which people died for that land. And those people, they need to be respected. And we need to come together honoring those people by not selling the struggle. So let's unite, whether you are Ndebele, Shona, Tonga, Kalanga, you are white, you are black, you are green, whatever color you are Zimbabwean. Let's unite and get our freedom back. And through that unity, we can achieve a lot more than what we have now. Zimbabwe is the richest country, and it's rich than anyone can imagine. If we fix our politics, Zimbabwe automatically, it will go back to normal. That's all what we can say. We will not reveal the magic trick. We will be no longer magicians.
Yeah, I think, generals, we have covered most of the stuff that we needed to cover. You have sent letters to AU, SADC, and UN, and you're awaiting responses while the deadline that you've given to the parties in Zimbabwe is ticking. Is there anything else you want to say before we close? I want to start with you, General Stole.
Oh, thank you very much, Gambakwe. What I want to say as to wrap up is that we are the Zimbabweans, we are the citizens, and the government has got a primary responsibility of considering what the citizens are saying. And remember, we are dealing with issues we doesn't need a microscope to see. Right now, if you can check, even the elections which we regard as disputed elections right now, it is only 4 million people who participated, who exercised their rights in those elections. But the population density of Zimbabwe is 16 million. If our situation was normal, it was going to be seen as something which can bring some sense to say, where is the 12 million which did not participate? The reason is why 7.5 million of Zimbabweans, they are in diaspora. What is the problem? Economic challenges. They are economic migrants today. Most of them are in Zimbabwe. Some couldn't even go to vote because of the transport challenges and all those stuff. So let us not ignore issues simply because we are sitting comfortably and we can afford what we want. We are looking into generations here. Zimbabwe is a nation for us who are here today and the generations to come. And it is a primary responsibility of us who are here to set a precedent to the generations to come. So our message right now, as we are driving a message of unity. Why? Because we have seen that the political toxicity in Zimbabwe is further dividing our people, and up to now it is dividing since from 1980, And we implore all the comrades and we implore all the citizens to say, let us do away with this political toxicity, political diversity. Let us come together and raise a voice. Zimbabwean problem, they need Zimbabweans to rise up, and we are not rising up to fight. We are rising up to raise our voice and consider. That is what is going to measure and tell us if we do have the government which is ready to serve the people or to serve other interests.
Okay, and for you, General, I don't know if I should mention your name because you have never said your name here. So I continue to call you General.
Okay. What I can say, yes, you can call me General. You can make it a name. Okay. What I can say at the moment is, regardless of our political diversities, we are Zimbabweans. We are here as ZEEFA to preach the word of unity. The weapon that is being used in Zimbabwe is division, divide and rule. This division was made a long time ago, 1980 to 1985, during the Gukura Hundi. They made that division for a purpose, for them to rule and dominate. So we are calling each and every Zimbabwean to come together, regardless of what happened back then. We will have a national healing. We will have once we have unity, we are starting the process of national healing. We are starting the process of freeing our mind. Once we free our mind, we can be able to govern ourselves. We can be able to see what is wrong and how to fix it. That is the most important thing. As a revolutionarist, I can tell you, the war cannot be fought with guns and bullets. The war can only be fought within your mind. Once you win that war, you can be able to hold a gun and recall order and recall peace to people. So before you even go to the bush and fight, you need to fight that war. What is the purpose of what we are doing? What is the purpose of politics? Or what is the purpose of what are we fighting for now? It is the freedom and the respect of those who fought for that freedom. And the people of Zimbabwe should be in the forefront of everything that we decide as decision makers. The government has to understand that they are working for the people. They are working for the citizens of Zimbabwe. Once they understand that people first, them second, we will have freedom and we can be able to govern ourselves. So as ZEEFA, we say unity can make wonders and unity can give us our freedom. We are living at a borrowed time. We borrow this time from our kids. Zimbabwe does not belong to only us. It belongs to the future generation. So what are we going to leave for them? That's my message to
Okay.
the people.
So I think we have covered everything. And obviously, every week you'll be coming here to give us an update. Maybe next week you'll let us know if SADC, AU, and EU, and all the other bodies have responded to you, as you're obviously giving a warning to the guys in Zimbabwe that they must have dialogue within 3 months. Thank you very much for joining me, Generals, and we'll be back again next week to give the people of Zimbabwe another update. A good evening to you all, and to give good evening to all the listeners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Kambakwe.
much.